G'day friends, welcome to today's flip. I'm going to go through my Traveler's Notebook insert. This is a lightweight paper, 013 by Traveler's Company. This is a fresh one. It is so fun to see just how thin they start and how chunky monkey they get by the end. I love it. There's something so satisfying about that. So, I'm going to flip through it. This says there's 128 pages in here. Now, I have ripped some pages out because I needed to work on them somewhere else, or I just didn't need those pages, or I really ruined it. And so there are some pages that are ripped out. Some of them are glued together just for a bit of sturdiness. So I don't think there are going to be 128, but either way, I think it's going to take us a hot minute to flip through, so let's just start, shall we? This is one of the leather covers by Traveler's Company. This is from Narita Airport. This is one of their special editions that you can only get at the airport. So I got this when we were in Tokyo last year. I also got this little charm from the Traveler's Company. It just says Traveler's Notebook on it. I love it because it's a little luggage tag, and it reminded me of Tag Tuesday. So I got that. I think I got that one at Tokyo Station, I believe. But either way, I went to the one in Tokyo Station and I went to the one in Narita Airport and picked up their limited edition stuff because couldn't help myself. I've only been in a Traveler's Notebook for about a year now, so I've got way too many for having been in it for not very long. This is the cover that I actually had printed. You know what? I think I might take it out. It might make it easier. Or not, who knows? This cover, this was a print that I had, and I was testing some print companies, and it was just a scan of one of the pages in my journal, and I just put it over the top, so you can't actually see down the middle there, and you can't see the staple, because believe it or not, there's just staples holding that together. So I put this on top, and I like it. It gives it an extra sturdy cover, and it was also a really quick way to decorate it. This is an HP Sprocket print of my wedding day. The suit that I wore, the little boutonniere that I had. So inside this journal, I got a bunch of pages that are, there's some are just notes, some are little illustrations, some are art journal style pages, some are a bit of scrapbooking, but it's just kind of a hybrid everything journal. So this is more of an art journal feel to me, with the pattern papers. This was from an old calendar from Paper Source, I think. This was a really old digi-stamp that I had lying around, so I turned her into a bee. This is a quote that was given to me, and I actually really needed it at the time, but I keep it around forever because she is queen. Keep your chin up or the crown will fall. I love that. Who doesn't love that? Just got some theming going on here. This is when I was trying to de-stash so much paper and somehow came up with this Macaron Fantasy. This is a little gelatoni from Tokyo Disney Sea. I had a bunch of these that I just hoarded for a while. Me sitting in a cup of tea. This is an HB Sprocket print of my Bitmoji. He's here for the tea. So don't worry, there's no actual tea spilling in here. You won't find any gossip in there. Even if you did, it's super cryptic. You'd never get it. This is my sister. I don't know if I've shown her or made her like super obviously known, but I have a younger sister. Her name is Siobhan. And Steve actually took this photo when he came to Australia, and we did a themed photo shoot out at the lighthouse. So I had this little print in here. This was one of my stamp samples. There is a video on how to do this page actually. If you go through my stamp series, you can learn how to create this. My cocoa spread, I think I did this fully on film as well with another cocoa spread, but I just love that part of the film where Frida is like talking about her stage show and the production, and it's just a big cactus that's her. She has lots of little Fridas dancing all over the cactus. I mean, I just gagged when I watched it. It was so funny. So I put the quote in there, which is also me from a cactus. Oh, I love Coco. Coco is such a fantastic movie. Here's a bit of classic James, Overboard, everything in the kitchen sink and then some. I think this is when I was actually first testing out this little tutorial, and that's where I got the idea for this, but I didn't like this version of it, so I redid it here. So, it's fun to kind of see where things lead. I got these post-it notes from Japan, so I was Obsession, of course. Ultra level 100. This is so funny, actually. This never made it to YouTube, but remember Whimsy Ween last year? Stella and I did the face painting. This was the first version we did of it. We didn't have any prep. We just kind of winged it. And I think it turned out okay. We had these LED lash strips on as well, so our eyes were like flashing. I know I've mentioned it before. I think I mentioned it in the story time or something, but that was really funny because that night we got to the end and we both kind of looked at each other and thought maybe we should have prepared something. So yeah, we actually completely refilmed the whole thing. We were you know, both budding YouTubers, and we wanted to put the content out there that we're super proud of. So we definitely redid that entire thing, which was fun anyway. It's a fun thing to do, but yeah, this was from the first series, the first example that never made it, the first video. This is from my stamp series where we went to learn how to put things in circles. I know it sounds super easy, but I think it's so effective. It's such an easy way to ground something. And this is one that I just cut out and popped in my journal. Here we've just got some writing, very inspired by Instagrammers, a girl with a journal, Ali Brown, these people that just kind of like wash watercolor all over their pages. This is a terrible sample from me, but I think it's important to show you too that, like, you know, I don't get it every time. I don't get it right the first time. There are plenty of times I don't even get it right the 10th time, but you know, I want to take pride in the learning, and I want to take pride in the process. So this is me trying to figure out how to get those lovely loose watercolor washes. So this is before I watched enough Ali Brown tutorials to get it. And then this was, because this page was empty for so long, and this is actually from my fragments packet, the actual packaging. I always cut these out and use them. I don't know why, because I have them on my computer, but I just cut them from the packaging. Testing out my, my embossing pen. I have these embossing pens, which I actually used to cover my journal. I covered my sketch planner with these and did rose gold embossing. I think it's actually a copper, but to me it looks rose gold, because these are rose gold stickers and it's a perfect match. So someone's off in their color naming department. But yeah, so I was just practicing with that. Putting stickers down, I mean, is this something? No, but you know, it was what it was, so let's just leave it at that. I like to try everything because I think the ideas stem from there. I still give everything a go and then see if it can't translate into something else. So, you know, maybe I'll figure out a sticker dress someday. Maybe that will be fun. Or maybe it'll just stay like this and it was just a, you know, just a trial and error that I don't really love. I don't know. I love these Tim Holtz word stickers. I think these are called, well, these are the big ones. These are called Big Chat, but I love the small talk ones. And I also love these. These are scans from books, and they're just little words, and I've been using these so much, and now I'm getting to the point where I get upset that they're running out. So I might have to pick up another packet of these, or see if there'll be new ones coming out, or maybe just go and cut up some books of my own. Sorry to all the bibliophiles out there, but they're so great. There's just such a great boost of inspiration for your page. So this was just a little illustration I was doing when I was getting excited to go to Japan. I think I was kind of figuring out how to do all the watercoloring here to get more of an effect that I liked this time. This is some collage of just some random stuff that was hanging about my desk. I think this book has a lot of destashed kind of pieces that just didn't have a home. I got this from Roxanne from By Bun. She does this like overlaying kind of, I like how when there's separate layers of things, but there's a motif that runs over all of them. I think it really ties everything together, and Roxanne does a lot of that. So I had to go with that and use that. So that's where that inspiration's from. Little Easter Swatch Dolls sample. This is actually a video if you want to go and check out how to do this and how to learn all the elements to draw that. Everything is at your disposal on the channel. This was for a Jane Davenport video. Do you remember when we did the looking at the rule of threes and we were doing journal pages with the blocking and the different adding the different design elements in each kind of block? These were some of the samples. This is where it stemmed from. And my little notes, my super detailed notes. But yeah, this is, I mean, it's fun to see that. This was all done on the back of copy paper. Like, what is this? I think this is one of those journal tapes that I made. Here I'm experimenting with like a little bit more of a minimalistic look. So I had these little banner stickers. They were from a recipe book. This is the most bizarre thing ever, but I think it came free with either a show bag from the Royal Easter Show, because I've had them for years, or it came with a newspaper or a magazine or something, like a Women's Day. It was a booklet of stickers that were printed, but it was like, you know, they had round label stickers that said like coriander and salt and pepper, and I've been using them for years. Anyway, they had all of these little banners in that same pack, and I'm finally at the end of it, so I went nuts with them and did all my journaling on those. This is a clear sticker. one of my collage sheet elements that I just printed out on a clear sticker paper. I actually went in over the top with these little aqua markers. They're just water-based markers. These are from Miniso. They're super cheap, but they're like a, I think you could use a Tombow or whatever as well. But I just colored in over the top of the sticker paper. Because remember, those clear sticker papers that you can put through inkjet printers, they are receptive to ink, so you can draw on top of them. You could totally color them in on top. So I've been enjoying printing them all in black and white and either coloring underneath, like a color blocking, or some kind of impressionistic color style, or just coloring in on top with some markers. I think it's really fun. This is an illustration that was just there and I hated it for so long, and I still don't love it, but I just needed to put these somewhere, and I thought it kind of filled the space nicely. These are just some notes from a video that I want to make called Pigment Puddles. I've been practicing with different blends, not necessarily blending them. I don't want to create a color. I want to create a color palette of like 3 colors, so we're just doing tricolor arrangements, and then we're going to make puddles of them on the page, if that makes sense. So every time, you know, I pop up with that the Rainbow Paddle Pop palette, this one, I don't think I have a sample of it in here, but so we could essentially do these kinds of journal pages, but I'll give you the color palette to work with. This is just Daniel Smith ones. I want to try and make some with the other palettes that other people have available, like the Prima palette, or some of the Designs by Rachel Beth palette are so ready to go, it's not funny. So these are some of the notes for that. This is just an everything journal. I mean, there's everything in here. Look at this cute little staple that I got in Happy Mail. I got this stapler with these decorative staples. I mean, they're so bulky, like it's a bit of a joke, but I really did want to put one in there because it's got Mickey heads on it. A photo of the tag. I really like trying to ground things that don't necessarily feel grounded. So you'll see here I've got this orange kind of ribbon. I actually drew the end of the ribbon onto the paper. This is just some paper from Muji in Tokyo. Now this paper is so funny. I don't know if you're able to see it, but they're lines, but they're not straight. They're like the slightest little wiggle in the line. So it's weird because it's like halfway between like a perfectly straight line and a hand-drawn line. And it's just so slight, but I was obsessed with it and I love the color of it. So I do love that paper. These were some notes or some thoughts about Inktober. My goodness, that feels like a billion years ago. Do you remember when I made 31 videos through October just for that? I think I made 38 videos because I had a whole Whimsy Ween week as well. That October was lit for videos. That was really fun though, but it was a super big challenge. I don't know what I'm gonna get up to this year. Let me know below if you're really interested in another Inktober. I'll have to do them like mini ones. I really love this spread. Now, I don't like to think too much when I'm journaling. I like to be a bit more intuitive about it, but sometimes I will really stop to think and then I remember like, oh, that's okay too. I do like to plan some things. I do like to have a palette, a theme, a feeling. I had just gotten my We Are Memory Keepers typewriter for my anniversary, my first anniversary, because it was paper, and Steve thought I could type him love letters on that thing. I don't know what he thought, but no, I said I wanted one and he obliged, so I was really happy for that. And I was just testing it, obviously just doing my journaling in here. So yeah, I just really love this. This is a Tim Holtz tape, and I know it would seem like a bit of a waste, but I mean, what else am I using numbers for? I like to just put a bar across here and just circle the day that it is. I know it's so extra, but do you like that effect? I really like that effect. This was a stamp series little sample that I did, so you can learn how to do this as well if you're curious. That's in the stamp series videos. Just some more little bits and pieces. This is one of my stamps that I did. Just wanted to theme it all together with this blue, white, and brown palette. I mean, she kind of pops with the purple, but just keeping it very simple and, nice and neat. This here is a photocopy. Now, I always tell everyone to photocopy everything. I don't want you to get in trouble. I don't want you to go and photocopy other people's things that they don't want you to photocopy. I'm just saying for anything that I release. So, if you're buying digi-stamps or collage sheets, you can photocopy them a million times. If you have my first book, if you have my second book, if you have my Inktober book, if you have an old zine from one of my orange grab bags, even like the little die cuts, I'd love for you to photocopy them so that you don't feel pressure of ruining one. And I'm photocopying stuff all the time, and I really, really, really don't mind, because I'm only here to try and encourage your creativity and nurture it. I do not care. I'm not the type of person to feel threatened or intimidated by someone photocopying my work. It's not, I don't put it out there for public consumption and then get really upset when the public consumes it. So I just wanted to let you know that photocopying is fine. I do it all the time myself. Obviously I've tried to, as I've grown into a business, tried to stay away from photocopying anything that's, copyrighted material or intellectual property of others. Obviously you can't sell that kind of a stuff, but I know that a lot of people keep asking and checking with me first if it's okay, and I definitely want to say that yes, please photocopy and use it for personal use. It is so fine with me, it's not funny. So photocopying. And one of the things I actually like to do, because you don't even need a great photocopier, if you have, just a standard black and white photocopier, or if you only want to spend, the least amount of money at Staples to photocopying in black and white and then coloring over the top is just as good of an effect as photocopying in color, and especially if you want to change up the color palette. So this was originally fully pink, and then when I photocopied it, it photocopies with all the shading and the shadowing that I had in the original, and then I just went over it with Copic marker, and now it's a blue image. So it's actually this one right here. This was when I was practicing making ephemera packs on my own. I was trying to get my brother's scan and cut to work, and I did, and then I realized if I tried to mass manufacture packets of these, it would take 45,000 years. So I gave up on that idea and then made the fragments instead, made the die cuts. I'm still looking into making colored ones. I just don't know if that's how I'm feeling. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, this is what I photocopied and then I tinted it blue. So I love that, just to be able to make it match your spreads if you're one of those people that loves to plan it out or be super matchy-matchy. But yeah, let's get over this page. Oh look, Whimsy Ween. This is the original little piece of tissue that we did with all the Whimsy Ween prompts. How fun is that? This is washi tape. I've got washi over here too. A little grid mapping of the face that we did in Goody Gumdrops lesson. That was fun. I love to make clothes out of washi. I don't know, I've always just kind of enjoyed using washi tape to put my patterns in, because I'm a bit lazy. I don't like to draw patterns very often. Or I just like to draw simple ones. Like, I would never sit down and draw that pattern. That's so involved. This is when I first got my my mood board, I think, my IKEA little frame. If you haven't seen this, I know I've posted it on Instagram a million times, but this little gold frame is $15 from IKEA, and it is such a fantastic mood board. It comes with all of the little gold clips, and it's perfect. It's so good to go. It's so like basic white girl aesthetic. I'm obsessed. And I change mine out seasonally, and it actually helps me having it up there. I do pull stuff off it all the time and use that ephemera in my journals, so I feel like it helps me destash a little bit. These are the photos from the second time we did that that tutorial. So there's the first one, and then this is what we came up with the second time. There's no argument here. I mean, it was just better that we redid it, but I love the memories of the first one too, and those LED lashes were too fun. This is just a bit of random journaling with some tags that I had made. I have a bunch of tags here, in fact, right next to me that I just don't get around to using. These are from Old Tag Tuesdays. This is from when I first got the tags and I first got a Kyanite Genuine to play with. And I was obsessed with it. I made a bunch of these. This is from a tutorial, a line weight tutorial. I made these on a Tag Tuesday as well. That's so funny. This is from a Swatch video. I think one of my first, is it? I don't know if there is a video of that actually. No, I think there is. I think there's totally a video of that. I think this is one of my first Swatch videos. But yeah, I've just got a bunch of tags that at any given moment I might just grab and put into my journal. And I even photocopy things. Sometimes I'll even photocopy pictures that I've drawn or from my book, and I will just make those into tags as well. I know it doesn't really count, but sometimes I just like the shape of it, and they really fit nicely into here. Like if you've got a blank page, I think this is just really lovely just to put on top and just keep minimal, maybe put a bit of journaling in there. If you've got more of a minimalist style going on, which I can't say I do, but I think I could fake it if I needed to. So just some collage on the tags, and I like to throw them in there whenever I'm feeling a little stuck for something to decorate my page. Here's one of my postcard samples. I love these postcards, especially this pack, the drafts pack, just because you can see all the working lines in them, and some of them, there's this one where you can see her arms were almost like an arm on the hip and like a hand, and then the actual piece that I inked in wasn't those arms at all. So I just love seeing all the construction lines and things. You know, when you can see the hand of the artist, I think that's something that we find appealing, and especially when you can see the thought of the artist, I think that's even more attractive to me. So that's why I love a lot of construction lines, and I don't love to get rid of them. In my works, I don't really care if they show up. Sometimes I'll clean them, like if I'm doing ephemera packs and, you know, die cuts and stuff, you don't need to see all of those. Sometimes I'll try and leave them in though, but yeah, for this, that's why I loved keeping them in. Even the border, like you can see, I just didn't even rule it straight here. I think it says so much about someone to be able to see how they start and how they work, and I think you can see that in these. So that's why I left them completely unretouched. I did a bit of color correcting just so the colors would be, you would see the red better, and it would be a more true red to the one I used. But yeah, I love these. And these are actually die cuts. You can buy these as die cuts. So that's what's even more fun. I feel like everything kind of resurfaces, and I'm big into reusing and recycling your own work. I think that's the key to, obviously it's the key to brand identification, but I think that's what helps solidify, you know, quote unquote style, which is one of those huge topics that everyone does love to talk about and then doesn't love to talk about. And you know, it's all over the place. But I will say this, if you are looking to develop your own style real quick, my advice is reduce, reuse, recycle. I'm pretty sure I got that from when I used to live on ships. Anyway, yeah, reduce the amount of time you spend experimenting with styles, just lock something in that you like, reuse old works that you've done and keep recycling them, and just go over and over and over again until you've essentially built up some kind of identifiable thread that runs through the whole thing. And that's where I start to think, you know, your brain will lock into that, you'll start noticing that in yourself, and then you can go from there. It's always going to be something that's developing, and as you grow, it will grow with you. So don't think that because it looks this way now that you'll never be able to change it, or you'll never be able to step into something new. That stuff can gradually happen over time. I wouldn't recommend, if you're a business, to just suddenly change your style overnight, unless you really, really want to, and that's fine with you. But yeah, if you are out there and that's something that's important to you, then my advice would be to hone into what you already do, recycle it over and over and over again, regurgitate it into as many new works as you can. And I don't mean draw the same thing, I mean take your drawing, photocopy it, cut it up, collage it back together, draw it again, photocopy that, put it into your journal, photocopy it 5 times, scan it, blow it up, put that down, color in, you know, a scanned version of it. I think it's that kind of a thing, that kind of repetition that will really open your eyes to what you are already good at, what you really like about your work, what you want to work on, and I think that will give you a bit more of a direction to go with. Because sometimes I think people looking for a style can just feel like they're out in a desert, just like some barren desert with, you know, no art supplies, don't know what to do, just drowning in a sea of sand. I think it's just starting where you're at, getting really familiar with your likes and your dislikes, and then building on that. So maybe that's another video for another time. This is not for the journal flip. I don't know, I just felt like I needed to put that message out there. Give the PSA again. I've said it a couple of times already, but you know, if you really do want to hear me talk about style and some tips, you just leave a comment below and I might get onto that. This is a stamp sample that I did as well. Now this is where I've glued pages together, and this paper is so thin that it's really hard to kind of glue together flat because it just warps at the sight of water. But it's really nice paper, and I love the texture on it too. So some of my washi tape, some more of these. See, this is what I mean, just like one of these little stickers just suddenly does something, gives you a thing to think about. You know, suddenly this might make sense to me, or suddenly I've got, you know, something to journal about. I love all of this really graphic black and white Zentangling. A photo of my journal at Disneyland, California Adventure. I love to put this little sneak of a person in here. This is just another copy of an illustration from another journal. This is actually stapled down, this page. I had cut this circle out because this page was kind of dirty underneath, and I only wanted to see this circle. This is from another tutorial, another stamp series tutorial. This was a print. This is from a print company. I just wanted to test the quality of it. It's really beautiful. It's actually really vibrant, and it's on this textured like watercolor. This is archival, so I mean, this is a legit print. It's so funny that I chose this illustration to do it with, but I really love it, so I put it in here. A little HP sprocket of Oliver and Bianca in their Halloween shoot. Do you remember that video? That video killed me. Like, just slayed my existence. I have never laughed so hard over the Halloween season in my life. I guess other than that time my mum was scaring the kids with us. That was so funny too. Go and check it. I know it's not Halloween. You don't have to check it out if you don't want to, but just make a mental note to check it out this Halloween. The story time from last year. That'll give you a huge insight as to who I am as a person. Another sample of the stamp series. This is a stamp. This is a stamp base. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but these are my stamps. I'm going to show you the most disgusting grubby versions that I have. So this is actually the stamp here, and I have used it as a blueprint. There she is. I've used it as a blueprint to get this illustration. I actually go through how to make this exact illustration, so please go and check that out as well if you want. You don't have to have my stamps to do this either. You can do it with your own face stamp, you can do it with your own face drawing, whatever you want to do. I really don't mind. This was another tag that I had made around Halloween, just some little collage elements. This is just some notes that I had from church when I thought this was going to be my notebook for church, but I since changed to another one. I have these other Japanese notebooks that are just the most beautiful writing paper you've ever felt in your entire life. And I got them on sale. They were like crazy on sale for like $2. So, and they're grid, which I find easier to write straight on. So I take that to church now, and this is just a regular journal. This is the Halloween Swatch Dolls tutorial. This is when I was coming up with the little elements that I wanted to add. This is what kicked off all those tutorials, wasn't it? I think this was the first one. There was the Swatch Dolls tutorial where you learn how to draw the base, but then we came up with the seasonal ones, right? I'm pretty sure this was the first one. And then we did Christmas, and now we've done Easter. What's next? What's the next holiday? I'll have to think about it. That's fun to see. This was another tag that I made in a Tag Tuesday. It had nowhere to be, no home to live at, so I just whacked it in there. I thought the green went with the green. I don't know. Sometimes there's really just no thought process behind it, but I do love the visual of it. I actually really love having the little string in there too, even though it bulks up the journal a bit. I like that. This is a mess. There's so much I don't love about this. There's so much going on, but you know, samples of collage sheets with my new stamp, my bloke stamps, some rub-ons that were in gold that I thought might pop. I already painted over what was already drawn underneath here, so I don't like that I can still see it. I've smudged my silver writing. This is from the collage and copy tutorial, which I'm still obsessed with. I kind of want to do it all over again and make them all stickers now. So instead of photocopying onto regular paper, I want to maybe scan it and photocopy them onto sticker paper, or just print them onto sticker paper. I'm feeling all of this again. This is a little fragment from my die cuts. Some more of those big talk. This is my sister again in this is a paper flower reindeer antler headpiece. If you go way back into the depths of my Instagram, you'll see these. My sister, myself, and my nephew, so my sister's baby, we did a photo shoot where we were at North Pole Fashion Week. Just for fun, just because I could, and I made these paper antlers with the paper flower. Well, they were actually sticks from our garden, and I put paper flowers all over them and glued them to a headpiece. So they were super heavy, and then we did a photo shoot just in the backyard. But I love it. My sister and I have these photo shoot traditions, and you know, we've been doing it ever since she was a little girl. Since she was like 11, I think. Maybe, so much younger than that. But I think is 11 or 12 is when we started with the the DSLR camera. And I really started amping up the production value. It went very top model very quickly. So this is just such a fun thing for me to look back on, because now that I live so far away, we can't do it as often. She still sends me photo shoots of her with the baby. And I obviously help Steve now with real life photo shoots, so I still get to do all the play, but sometimes I wish we could just all be together and doing that every Christmas and Halloween. This is me. This says it all. I have no idea what is going on in this page. There is so much going on. There's even more crazy under here. This is nuts. Like, first of all, I do not like this color for this page. I love this. I should rip this out and put this somewhere better. Or does it make sense in here? Some of my washi, some practice die cut under there. Why does it say smitten? I mean, what is she smitten for? Some more stamp series tutorial. This is a blend of two different stamps that I have in my Charmed I'm Sure stamp set. I kind of like the graphic look of that. Maybe I'll bring that back. I ripped this, apparently. Wow. Wow. Does anyone watch Real Housewives of Melbourne? Wow. This is from Christmas, I believe. This was when I first got my bloke stamp set. I really like those. I don't even use those enough. I was awful. I brought those out because, you know, obviously I don't see a lot of blokes stuff in the art journal girl world. Sometimes I do feel like I'm gonna go on a touch of a rant here. Sometimes I do feel a little bit left out. You know, there's like planner girls and all my girls in the mixed media group, and like I know it's not anyone's fault. I don't think anyone's doing it on purpose. But there are, you know, a substantial amount of men in the in our community as well. So I wanted to have a bit of representation of myself in there, and I don't know, just show that I could make my mark here. So I just put out this bloke stamp set, and then I am the worst, and I didn't even use it as much as I thought. So I think I might pull that out and put it on my desk just to remember to use it. I mean, I've used it a lot. I just not as much as I've used the others. So, you know, I need to be a bit more fair about that. This is another stamp tutorial. This is in the stamp series as well. I think the running theme of this journal is tutorials. Something I just had to play with the other day, or the other week. Miscellaneous. This is what I've been getting into. I haven't been practicing any lettering at all, by no means. Please don't think I have. But I have been trying out these kind of a thing because I saw this in bullet journaling and I thought it's actually quite effective. So, and this is why I actually created this, what's it called? Washi tape. Let me just demonstrate something really quick. Okay, so I've got a piece of the washi tape here. I mean, I don't think I need that much, but you'll get it. I'm gonna take one of my brush pens, and this is why I have the through line going through the whole thing. Oh great, I picked one that doesn't even work. You understand what I mean, right? I did it so that you could connect your journaling to the tape and look like you had this illustration that popped a word out of nowhere, and it's all kind of connected. And you know, funnily enough, I actually did it with a brush pen, so this zebra sign pen will work perfectly with the size of the tape, and it will be so seamless. So let me try and do this here and show you. I mean, she's gonna have her face on the side, but that's fine. I think I just spelt Friday wrong on camera. I got so nervous about my lettering, I started spelling it wrong. How funny. Okay, you get what I mean though, right? The through line just kind of looks like it's connected, and then the white blends into the paper, so it looks like an illustration. Or I don't know, if you feel the need to finish it, you can absolutely, you know, put her hair back in. You could journal in here. This is not that, so let's just get rid of it. But that is where this kind of ties in, is I really like this style of writing that goes across the page like that. So I've been practicing with that. Now these were all examples for these stamp videos as well. So these are all stamp examples, and I didn't want to do anything with the rest of the page because I didn't feel the need to. I liked that they were just the images that they were. So I actually cut into the book and just made, like, I guess a mini book inside of this book. And then this one is just kind of like a flap, and then this one is just, you know, a page, and that's it, I guess. But yeah, I really love this one. Hello Beyonce hair. This one's really pretty too. I love these. These kind of came out so random and so bizarre, but I really do like that. And this one is the hat tutorial. This one's the body stamp, where I explained that the brushstroke mermaid kind of concept, but with the body. And then I went in with water and just kind of trashed it, which was fun. These are all the face base samples, the same stamp, and I showed you how to get different eyes and lips and noses and effects. So there are tutorials on all of these in the JLB Creative Stamp series if you're curious to find out how to do any of this stuff. Here's another one, the back of my fragments packet, because just wanted to celebrate that for myself. Another one of the stamp samples. I love that. Just another little tab. There's nothing under there. This is one of the bloke stamps as well. I put tattoos on him with a stamp. I think I've done this before. Actually, I think I've made a video on it. Maybe I should make a note to make a video on it. But I did this ages ago, actually. And I was doing, I had the reason there's a digi stamp in my store called Cherry is she's a pin-up girl, and I was using stamps to put, you know, ink on her body, right? Tattoo ink. So that was a project that I had done, and people wanted to practice it on the pin-up that I did, so I created a digi stamp for it. But it works in essence on anything that you have, but it's actually a really easy way to get, I guess, interesting tattoos without having to draw them. So I have just been putting ink on them, and then I mask off, you know, where I don't want it to go. So if that's something you want to try, I don't think you need a tutorial for it, but it's something fun to do. I don't have any tattoos, by the way. I don't like anything enough to get a tattoo, and I also don't like needles. I also am non-committal, so I don't have any, but it's a fun look. This is my Christmas stuff. This was when I was practicing for the bauble box. Do you remember that video where I made the home decor piece with the little wood blocks? I love that. Steve is obsessed with it, and like I think when we were moving, it was the one thing he was truly worried that might break. I think the frame itself cost more than the whole project put together, but that was super fun. This like mid-century kind of illustration of Steve and I, and the cats. Yeah, I love that. This was a collage element that I just colored in, did some journaling in. I think this has all been seen around Christmas time. Some Christmas collage sheet stuff. This is fun. I loved having the ornaments hang from the top. I thought I would enjoy this kind of beige page. I just don't. I liked the thought, didn't like the execution. This was my class from Mindy Lacefield's Goody Gumdrops. I really liked that. That was really fun. This was, I think I did this on film when we had the What's in My Bag video. We had the emergency, like, run out of the house, and I was trying to see what I could create with whatever I grabbed. I like the bubbles. These bubbles are really pretty. I don't know what I did that with. I think that was a Tim Holtz Distress marker. They're so sheer over this. It's really pretty. It's a paint marker, these weird, like, jellyfish things. I loved this tag. See, this is the worst part. I don't love all of this, but I loved this tag. This was from an old illustration I actually did like years ago, I think in 2015 maybe, and I had a scrap piece of paper that was like really cheap sketch paper. I just had a couple of pens and a pencil, and I was in bed and I was actually just sketching, and I sketched this like over the shoulder mermaid out, and I just fell in love with it. I thought it was so, I don't know what I love about it. I'm sure if I looked at it long enough, I could find things to not like about it, but I'm not interested in that. I just love it. So I reproduce this all the time. I think this is in my first book as well. You can find this image. And I made it into a tag and layered some, what's that called? Like dressmaker pattern, some fashion pattern paper. You know the paper that you get when you do dressmaking? It's that. I don't know what that's called all of a sudden. Pattern paper? And did all my journaling on it as well. This is an index card that I kind of gave her a new body and tail with. I'd probably love to make this like bigger and just actually do the tail. I don't know, I'll think about that. That's the problem with flipping through your journal. It puts you in the mood to do it. And then I'm making a video, I can't just stop to journal. I'll do it afterwards. But maybe this was the one that I did on camera for the class. There was a few versions of it as well. This was one of the practice runs as well. This was the mapping out of what I needed to do. Yeah, I think maybe this one I did on camera and this one I didn't. Or did I do this one on camera? Look, I'm not quite sure. I'm pretty sure I did this one on camera, and then this was another option just to show people that, this is exactly the same tutorial, but this one I was a lot more heavy-handed in the application, and that it's totally fine, you're going to get there in the end, and it's okay that your results are going to look different, but essentially you'll still have the same page. So that's something that I like to show, is that, it doesn't have to look exactly like this for you to have gotten it right. I've done it a bunch of different times. I'm the one that created it, and even I come up with completely different variations, at the end. So it's totally okay for people to come up with their own, certain look at the end. I think it's always funny because you'll see people kind of inject a part of their personality into it, and I think sometimes it can be really identifiable, and I could totally tell who did that and how that happened. But I think it's good to know, especially when you're teaching and when people are learning from you, just to reassure them that whatever they come up with is okay. I know it seems so super simple, but I think a lot of people just need that reassurance and need that validation, so I try to remember that when I'm teaching. This is the Easter Swatch Dolls tutorial. This is, and again, a photocopy in black and white that I've just colored over. So it's a little bit more dull, a little bit more gray and dark, but if that's the look you like, then photocopying's the way to go for you. Again, another one of these test pages with this is a digi-stamp I think I offer around Christmas, or it might still be in the store, I'm not sure, but it's a reindeer called Ruby, or it could also be a deer, I guess. I don't know what it could be. It could be a horse, technically, I think, if you made those longer and gave it a mane, or a unicorn if you gave it a horn. It could be any of those type animals. Whatever is horse adjacent, this can be. The other example, this was when I had my little mini sprocket prints and I wanted to make them little decorations on the tree, because we have a little frame on the tree, a little gold frame that has a wedding photo in it. And I thought it was really, really sweet, so I wanted to do that on my tree in my journal. Didn't come out the way I thought, but I still like it. And I was actually going through, so just so you know, this was the lesson that I ended up teaching in the class, but I don't settle on the first thing that I get to, and I had a bunch of different alternative lessons. So if we do it again this year, Mindy, I've got something prepared. But this was one of them. I was going to do these, what were they called? Ornamental ladies? Ornamental figures? I don't know. There was something, fashionable figurines. Who knows? But this was another one of the concepts that I was playing with that just, you know, I nixed this one for the other one. But it's always good to have around in my journal for next Christmas, or to inspire something else, or, you know, just to have to look at. I really like it. And then we've got the last page, Finn. I put a completed March 26, 2018, just so I knew when I finished it. I don't know if I'll do that in every journal, but because I didn't even say when I started it. I want to say I started this around July. That could be a total lie. When would I have started this? No, just before I went to Japan, because that's when I was excited. So July. So this was about July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. This is 8 months worth of a traveler's insert. But remember, I've been working in like 15 other traveler's notebooks and journals at the same time. So I think if I was really committed to filling a journal, I could definitely do it pretty quickly. I don't know how good it would be, but maybe that should be a challenge I do. Fill a journal in a day. Just give myself 24 hours, start to finish, fill a whole journal and film it. And then auction it? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe, I feel like I'm up for kind of a challenge like that. It's been a while since I've done any kind of challenge thing. Well, I don't know. Possibly. Or maybe I'll choose one of the smaller ones, because I don't think I could do 128 pages in 24 hours. I could probably do one of the small ones. I don't know. I'm super intrigued by that idea. Let me know down below, or click the thumbs up button if you want me to do it. Fill a journal in a day. That would be fun. I think maybe someone did that on YouTube already. Maybe that's where I'm thinking of it. I have an overwhelming urge to do it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the journal flip. Thank you for sticking with me if you've made it this far, if you've made it to the end. I don't know what the consensus is. Some people really, really love long videos, and some people really are only here for the 5-minute ones. But I know personally it depends on what day you catch me. If I'm about to sit down for a long, session of art journaling, I want a super long video. But some days I also only want like 15 minutes of a tutorial, because I don't like to labor through something. But if you enjoyed it, let me know, and let me know your preference too for longer or shorter videos, and why that would matter, I guess. So I hope you enjoyed today's flip. Again, let me know your responses to one of the 7 billion questions I asked in that video. Just stand off in the comments below. I will try and get back to you if you have questions. If not, I'd love to hear your feedback on the long video versus short video scenario. And until the next time I finish a journal, that's the flip for now. Bye.